Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, guys, man. Well, let's just go straight into the charts here, huh? Looks like the treasuries are kind of on the down foot again. They never really picked up yesterday. I would say that there was a fair amount of activity, but they didn't really do much of anything yesterday. You can kind of see during that period. But they are starting on the downside and maybe kind of mean reverting here a little bit. I'm not too sure that the treasury market is going to do anything all that significant. We do have a 3 and 6 month bill auction and some Fed speakers. But, you know, we got like CPI and PPI up on deck later this week. So I think that they're kind of going to be a slightly more range bound here. S&P 500, a little bit of a pullback and going sideways overnight. I tell you what, that's like the flattest it's been overnight in a while, isn't it? I don't know if we'll have good trading over in the S&P 500. Oil's still reeling from man. That sell yesterday really is a pretty big one yesterday in oil for no apparent reason as far as I can tell. But you know, I don't keep very close tabs on the oil markets. So gold and silver, ooh, dude, that is just not like for all of this progress that they made in gold going up here and then they just gave it all away in like 3 short days. This is just, geez. Copper, ooh, copper not looking good. Copper not looking. What's going on in China? And then over here we've got the 6J and the dollar all the way up at 105.5. You know, just seeing that. Oh, wait. Before I start yapping. Bitcoin coming back a little bit. It reminds me of bounded rationality. What is bounded rationality? So people try to make rational decisions. People try to make the best decisions that they can, but we're limited, right? We don't always know what the most optimal solution is. The optimal solution might be too complicated for a regular person to calculate. And so you kind of have to just do the best that you can, and that often involves using heuristics and things like that. And what I find very often in markets is that sometimes markets will just kind of run with a really oversimplified answer. Like, you're going to come in and you're going to say, well, but there's A, B, and C things that you know, I don't think that it would make sense for the market to explicitly do that, but then it does end up being that simple. And I kind of think that's what's going on here with the dollar, is that they've got, like, you know, they're saying Trump's strong. When Trump's around, people are making money, and that means that the S&P 500 is going to go up and the dollar is going to get stronger, and it's doing so almost purely off of Donald Trump's reputation, which is pretty wild to watch. I feel won't be like that forever, because other things will come in and start to affect the markets more, right? But for now, that's kind of what's driving the market. We'll see what these next inflation numbers are. Wouldn't it be something if we got to the inflation numbers and it ended up being like a spot 1 or something? These treasuries would rocket out of here. By the way, Hentelag, welcome back. How are you doing? Let's pop through here and look at things. There's a bunch of noise overnight. Enjoying becoming a more solid trader? Oh, very good. Very good. I'm so happy for you. There was a bunch of noise last night because one of the funded trader programs went under. And I finally found like somewhere that had like the files and everything. So I was going through that, and then people saw that I was there, and we had a little bit of back and forth. It looks like that's died down. They didn't want to fight with me, I think. But man, this so what is it? Fast track trading? Holy crap. I got this log that goes all the way back to like March. The one that put away 12 million. Did he put 12? Well, there's kind of this whole thing about they put a bunch of transactions, and they kind of rug pulled. Like they did a bunch of transactions and moved a bunch of money around before they said, like we're going to go and file for bankruptcy or whatever it is that they're doing now. Yeah, it's huge drama. I tell you what, it's huge drama. I really hope. I don't have too high of hopes, but I can dream, can't I? I really hope that this makes retail traders think twice about these funded trader programs. I really don't think that they are the best thing for traders. They're not a scam, and they're not illegal or anything, but I really don't think that you should be wasting your time on them. And I think that people should focus on funding their own accounts and finding empirical evidence that they can trade off of. And this whole game of trying to pass the combine and keep it for as long as you can and everything is just a complete joke. Saw the BTC 165. Oh jeez. Stefan Samara, I won't touch funded programs. Too many restrictions. Oh yeah, totally. Like one of the things that I've kind of started to do is go like, well, why are the numbers set to what they are? So you know, I did a little bit of a Monte Carlo simulation and all of that sort of a thing. One of the things that I discovered was that the probability of somebody blowing out the account, rather hitting the maximum drawdown, is really just dependent on the ratio between the target and the drawdown. So what's with all of the other rules? And the more that I start to dig into like why they have the other rules, like the daily loss limit in particular, it seems to me that the daily loss limit is somewhat related to the average volatility of the market. In other words, you have to set that daily drawdown to a level that is within the realm of possibility for daily volatility, right? So like you look at the S&P 500, maybe I can pull up a chart here and explain. That will kind of illustrate better what I'm talking about. Optimize Candace. Because like so if I come in here and I just look at what we've done overnight, I come in and I use the ruler, and I just take the overall range of this time period, and we come into the properties here on it, and we change it to where is it? Oh no, that's the chart. I want this part right here. There we go. Price, currency. There we go. Okay, 900 and $75. So this example was a little bit short of it, right? But basically, if you had a combine and you took a, you know, a long up here, right? And you held on to it, you would be close to hitting the daily drawdown limit, right? So they set that daily drawdown limit to a number that is like possible for you to hit, right? On one contract, by the way. Most people are going to use multiple contracts, or it's kind of to your advantage to use multiple contracts, honestly, at least from a psychological perspective. That's why if you'd use a combine that is a larger account, you'll get a larger daily drawdown limit, but then the target max drawdown ratio is worse. So like nobody buys those ones, but that's why they're doing it. It's because it increases the amount of intraday volatility that the account can handle. So they have to compensate by changing the targets. So with that in mind, then you can start to go into, okay, well, what if I don't care about the combine? What if I don't care about the combine and I'm able to take trades that are more than that, where I'm able to take a loss that's more than that, right? Then it's like, you know, just as an example, this move right here. Okay. This move was $1,000. Yeah. You bought up in here. It sold against you. You can withstand the loss, and now you're up 3 times that. See what I mean? With the way that the funded trader programs are designed, you've really got to catch it in here, and then there's going to be all sorts of pullbacks and everything. Like, it's just almost impossible for you to really hang on to it. So even though the S&P 500 tends to go up, like, honestly, if there were no restrictions on the program, like, you could do anything that you want that's legal. Just you have to stay within the margin requirements for that broker, and you have to hit a certain target. Okay, if that's all it was, you could almost always pass it by just coming in and buying the S&P 500 and holding it long enough, right? So once you start to look at the rules, it can actually kind of lead you to let's not say profitable strategies. I mean, it can lead you to profitable strategies, but it can lead you to insights that help you, essentially. Is you're kind of saying, okay, well, why did they set that number? What is it that you can do that they're trying to restrict you from doing, right? So it really is the case that putting all of your focus on these funded trader programs, it holds you back, frankly. I mean, the other side of it, even if you don't want to take on that much risk, because I don't want to take on that much risk, right? I trade micro treasury futures over here. And if I make $100 in a year, and that's 10% of my account, I'm happy. That's like 10 or 20%. Like, that's amazing performance. And if you could hit that year after year, you're like on a good track. Would like to size it up a little bit. I'm kind of working on that. But, you know, I'm happy with that. And the problem with the funded trader programs is that the targets that they're having you go for are really quite obscene, right? And the smaller of a targets that you take, and that's just the longer that it will take for you to pass the combine. And then you're spending more money per attempt at the combine, right? Because let's say it, just based on random, if you pass 30% of the time or whatever, that means that it's going to be like 3 combines per attempt. But then if each one of those attempts takes you 2 or 3 months, you're talking about 6 to 9 times, right? So you're already well over $500 into it. You could have just put that money into a real account. Like, once you get over 500, like, you just go to AMP. Like, But it seems to me that the lure is just too much. The lure is just too much, man. There's too many people out there that aren't going to see that. They're blinded by the opportunity to possibly make big money from the funded trader programs. They're blinded by the people that have come in and said, oh, like I was able to make $1 million from doing this. And you've got these funded trader programs. They're pushing lots of advertising. They're pushing a lot of money with the affiliate links. Some of these people, one of the things that popped up in the fast track trading chat was like one of the more popular YouTube trading influencers wanted in on it. Wanted to get a link from them and everything. And they're making like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on affiliate links, man. It's crazy. And so that's all people can see. And I don't know if how much of a dent I can make in that, but the beginning is a good practice, losing X amount in some accounts instead of 2,000 each time. Well, okay, maybe from that perspective, but then like, why not just trade it sim? I don't know. It is better that you know. Well, and that's the other thing is, okay, if you come in and you put $500 into an account, come in and trade micros, trade them $10 at a time, that should last you a really, really long time. Okay. That's going to last. You're going to get more trading out of that than you would have gotten putting that save $500 into a funded trader program. Affiliate links obviously work and make money. Maybe we should be more open to them because, geez, everyone making money off of trading is making it from affiliate link. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with affiliate links in and of themselves if you are promoting a service or like trading software, things like that, that are useful to the audience and things that you use yourself and that you recommend. That's totally fine. But this whole like prostrating yourself in front of the prop firms is just, it's absolutely ridiculous out there. But yeah, so we've been working on this video, right? About the prop firms to really like just really dig into it, right? Just really hit in. Somebody's asking me for a link here. Hold on a second. What is it? We have this link in here in the description here, don't we? Permanent live stream URL. Anyways, so you know, it's totally okay to push affiliate links, but it's hilarious to watch some influencers out there just absolutely bend over backwards to push the prop firms. It's a nice little jog lower. Yeah, I kind of felt like it was a little too nonchalant about it, but I don't know. One side on here in the treasuries. Can I go back into the treasuries for a second and be my ADHD self? I kind of feel like that this pressure that we've had on the treasuries for a while now, kind of pushing lower. I'm kind of noticing that it's kind of got this tendency to like make the push and then not really get a whole lot out of it. You know, it's like I'll maybe let it break a new low and then I'm getting out, you know? And so like, especially that first move, because on the other side, when we've had buys, a lot of those have been like full on reversals. So I'm kind of like, I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I want a little bit more volume and change than that before I really try jumping on something, you know? Oh man, that's funny. There's some drama that so there's this guy where I got some of the FTT like data stuff from, or their chat log. When I got their chat log from, and then they started talking with me, and he decided to kind of get into it with me, and I think it's kind of funny. I can see why he feels that way. I kind of feel like if he had a little bit more context, he wouldn't feel that way. But now he's like, he wants to like have it full on with me, and I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'm not afraid of that. But it's just do it in a situation where people can get full context. But I don't think he's gonna do that. But some of the other people were coming in on the channels. So we'll see if this Kellyanne lady comes in. She's actually you guys. There she is. There you go. I think it is a real fight, Kelly. I think it is. like at first, listen, I'm not necessarily the best at reading social situations like that, okay? But at first I thought, because I was kind of joking around. I thought he was just playing into it and joking around, but no, I think he's serious. Yeah. So here's the thing. Let me try and give you the context that, because when we were like in Discord last night, there was probably a bunch of things that if you were a regular viewer of my channel, you'd probably think are hilarious, but you were probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? So I got two things here, okay? The first thing is I like to talk about what I talk about. Like, to me, I would prefer that nothing is off limits. So, of course, we kind of have to have certain, I don't know, boundaries because we're on YouTube and everything, right? But I like to go on into anything, whether it's a crazy thing, it's unproven or whatever. And I'm not saying like those things are true or anything like that, but just like it's kind of interesting to talk about, right? But then at the other side of it, when it comes to our trading, what we're doing here on the stream, like what we're talking about and focusing on in terms of our trading, we want our trading to be based on empirical evidence, which means that I have data about the market, not just somebody's personal experience. Like, that would be anecdotal evidence, right? So a case study. That's different. I want empirical, I want hard data about the market I can prove that says that this thing or this behavior or this edge that we're looking for is like really a thing. Okay. And what has happened in the past is there are some guys and they're good guys. So you're talking about Ace and RJ. They're good guys. We should have Thanksgiving if Ace comes around. We should have Thanksgiving, because when he was around here in the stream before, it was kind of during COVID and there's all the restrictions and everything, so we couldn't do anything. But he lives close to me, so I'd love to have him over. But the problem is that he's focused on all of this kind of technical analysis nonsense, things that we don't have any empirical backing for. Every time that I come in and try and program up a strategy to show if there's actually a real edge behind this thing, the backtests say that it's not really a thing. And I'm kind of like, look, listen, again, we can talk about anything, right? So it doesn't mean that we can't investigate other strategies, right? It's just I can only backtest so many different technical analysis setups before I'm just kind of like, why are we wasting our times with these particular concepts? Like, we have other information, things that are like proven. Why can't we kind of jump off from those? So that's kind of like my indicators you see up here in the upper left. That's what we're doing with those things, is these are kinds of pieces of information that I have reason to believe, based on empirical studies about order flow, that there might be an edge in. And so now I'm kind of collecting data so that later I can go in and do an investigation and prove if there's an actual statistical inefficiency there, right? So that's what I want, like, my focus to be. And there's been a couple of people on the stream who, again, they're good guys. Like, I'd totally have them over. We should have Friendsgiving. I would love to talk to him again. Okay. But they didn't really want to focus on that. And when they were bringing up those things, I would trash it appropriately. Like because it's so weird to me, Ace in particular, because we live in Utah, so there's this whole thing with the Mormon church, and he's kind of like ex-Mormon and everything, and he kind of pushes this thing about how people in the LDS church will, like, why do they believe that thing, because there's no proof for it, and there's a lot of reasons to kind of believe that it's not true, right? And I'm just like, why do you hold that standard up for like religious things, but then you don't hold that standard up in your trading? Was the thing that, like, I don't understand. Okay, so what's happening here, Kelly, is that those guys, they go and they hang out in Ox's chat now, and so he knows them, and like, I've been doing this for 8 years now. Well, these guys that are in my chat, like Morgan, how long have you been here from the beginning, Morgan? I can't recall. I think that Morgan's here been from the beginning. Octavius is here from the beginning. I think Apol was a little bit later, but he's been at least since the pandemic. Like this is the same group of like 24 guys or so that we've had in here almost the whole time, right? It says I don't know. It's been a while though. Yeah, like almost the whole time. So this is my crew, man. I would die for you guys. This is the you're my ride or die. This is kind of like that community that I feel like modern society has not given us, that modern society is kind of neglected. And I've been able to find it here doing this live stream. And I'm sure that Ox feels the same way about his guys that are in there. So when they come in and they're like, oh, Seth traumatized me and everything. He's going to defend him. I totally get where he's coming from, right? But I don't think he has the full story, because he was saying, oh, you're a flat earther. No, no. I am probably the most hard-nosed. We need empirical evidence. Let's use the scientific process that you can find on YouTube, and certainly within the trading space. And they're calling me the one that's a flat earther. Oh man, that's what that was about. Okay, so let's see which I'm not. Kelly says, I'm not a technical person. When I stop trying to be precise, I become profitable. I don't actually. Well, probably. So here's the thing that's really difficult about trading, right? Is that you can make money from just taking on risks. So they don't like your strategy. It's not even so much that they don't like their strategy as much as it is that they really, really love their strategy and hate that I'm, saying that there's no empirical backing for it. So like, let me back up a little bit and I'll tell you what I'm doing here. So we do have a lot of things that have empirical backing that we're looking for, okay? Watching the order flow is something that has a good amount of empirical backing, especially from some of these machine learning, large language model strategies that are coming about, right? So we watch the DOM, and when I'm watching the DOM, you have all your different market depth levels here, and I'm watching for significant changes in the market depth. So, if a big order comes in and then all of a sudden I see a number of these big orders in here shift, that's something that really sticks out to me. Right now, they're kind of trading icebergs, so it kind of seems to me that we're still kind of being slow and maybe stuck in a rut, and they're just going to execute in this area, so I'm not as interested in it, right? But so I'm using the depth of market, but like that's not the whole strategy, because the larger thing that I'm trying to do is, in order to make money, you have to predict future orders, right? You entered into a position, and then in order for the market to move, orders have to come through one way or another. It doesn't necessarily have to be market volume, because it could be that, these offers pulled out of the way and it didn't take very many market orders to push up. But those are still orders that you predicted to some degree, right? You predicted that the orders are going to move in a way that it moved up and you made money, right? So our whole thing is, let's predict future orders. What are some things that we can look at that might potentially predict future orders? So one thing that we have today that could potentially predict future orders is that there's a bill auction today. So there's going to be all sorts of large institutions and dealers and people that participate in the auctions that will come into the market and do certain things based on, how they have to hedge themselves for that auction. So that's something that could potentially predict future orders, right? Tomorrow we've got CPI. So that's also something that we can kind of use to predict future orders today, because we know that there's going to be a lot of people that won't see much of a point in trading because they expect volatility to be low while everybody's waiting for CPI, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing is I'm taking information about the market itself. So it's a very discretionary strategy, right? Because that's all information that is specific to that day, right? So I don't have a technical strategy. So you're saying, let's see here. Well, what was it? Your latest comment here. There's so many strategies that can be profitable. I have to see anyone succeed with whatever works for them. Yeah. When I stop trying to be precise, it became profitable. Yeah. So, yeah. Your boys are measuring. I mean, yeah. So that's why I was saying to Ox, I don't think you understand what you're talking about, because I think Ace is kind of joking around a little bit to some extent. Like, I think that we're on okay terms, but we did kind of decide, like, you know what? Probably better that you move on because you don't have the same focus. You don't want to focus on the same things. So Ox is getting more uppity about it than he probably should. That's why I was like telling him, I was like, okay, like we can talk about all of the how desperately you're shilling affiliate links for prop firms if you want. We can that's where I would go. Well, but man, I was getting to another point here. Don't catch me off track. I'm super ADHD like that. You can take me off track really, really easily. Well, that's what I thought you were fighting about affiliates. That's what I wanted to fight about. That's what we came in there and I wanted to, because I'm making this whole thing is wild to me, man. I've been working on a video for a while because I wrote a little Python script to do a Monte Carlo simulation for like how many traders would pass a combine and stuff like that, right? So I thought it was really interesting. I had some really cool data and I wanted to make a video about it. And I hadn't made a video about the prop firm stuff for a really long time. Like at the beginning of my channel, so like 7 years ago, I made some videos about that, and those were some of the things that really initially boosted my channel and like got me to the initial 5,000 and all that. So I had been working on a video, and then this whole thing with FTT came about, which is just wild. And I kind of do want to fight because, part of me is like, you've been too nice, and I've had some spats with people before. Like there were some people that were just like real outright scammers in the industry, and they kind of tried to start fights with me. And I said, no, I don't want to give them any breathing room. We're just going to ignore them, right? And sometimes I look back and I'm like, well, I'm glad that I did that because I do want to get into it with those particular people, but it can help your channel to some extent too, So now I'm looking back on it and I'm like, well, let's go back into that affiliate thing. That's a fight I want to have. I understand your perspective that you were saying about it last night, Kellyanne, where it's like, it is maybe kind of rigged against you, but like that's still an opportunity, right? I understand that perspective, so I'm not going to say that, it's like a carnival. I really think that carnival game is an apt depiction of it, right? I'm not going to say to somebody like, you don't ever play carnival games. I mean, you're still getting what you paid for in a carnival game, right? As long as you understand that it's kind of rigged against you, you do what you want, right? And people can get good at playing the carnival game. Usually they ban you from playing the carnival game at that point, but you can make money from it. But like that's not what I'm interested in. I don't want to play a game. I want to play the real game. I want to fund an account and and have an account that's large enough to take real position trades and do big things with it, you know? So like the thing that I kind of want to push, like my challenge to you is fund your own account. Don't push affiliate links for prop firms. Affiliate links are okay, just not prop firms. Okay? And create content that's empirically backed. Those are the three things that I would like to see more YouTubers do, you know? Yeah, most people are just trying to make money, and I am an affiliate. Yeah, you see, it's like, you know, now first, and I'm not gonna say like if you're pushing an affiliate link, you're a bad person. Like any creator that has those prop firm affiliate links in their description, that they're scammers or you shouldn't trust them or anything like that. There are some people that are desperately pushing it so hard that it's just hilarious. Like honestly, with Ox, my goodness, this guy has every day he posts a video with the 5 prop firms that he's pushing for that day. Holy crap, dude. Can you push them any harder? Oh, it's absolutely disgusting to me. It's absolutely disgusting to me, man. Have not seen my channel. So you know, I don't remember who it was in here, but I think that one of my guys did recommend you to me once. So here's my problem is like, I want empirically backed information. So I'll go to a trading channel and be like, okay, do they have any videos that look like they might be empirically backed? Like maybe they have back tests or something like that. And if I don't see that, I turn away. I looked your channel up last night and I was like, yeah, okay, this is pretty typical. But you were more focused on talking about the prop firms and the ones that were particularly bad actors, which I'm down with. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Futures trading with Kellyanne. Yeah. I was talking. So she's got a video about the fast track falling. Review of other prop firms. Oh wait, what was this one? Savviest? I don't have that on my list. Let's look that one up really quick. Trading company, is that what it is? You know what, it looks like they're oh, they have instant funded. Wait, do they have an English? If I go back, do they have oh, there you go. English. Savviest English. Instant funded. Instant funded. Start trading immediately. No complicated challenges. Oh, so this is one that's like oh no, it sounds well, I have to dig into it a little bit. 7 and then once you've okay, so once you've reached the target, you can request the payout. Too expensive in your opinion? So I have a list. Where's my list here? Oh, I already have it open. That's cool. So I am categorizing the prop firms by, so here's my key metric, is do they put you on live? So the thing that I think is so wild is you pass the combine, and then after you pass the combine, you're on live sim. So I've looked into this a lot. It's not illegal from any understanding that I have, but I kind of think that it should be illegal. I think that if the prop firm is paying you from their profits, that is too big of a conflict of interest to ignore. That the prop firm will always, the business, and this is the thing, is that like even individual people, like they might be the best meaning, but the way that organizations and businesses work, right? Like the business is going to work against you at some point. So I really would like, you know, so if I was going to do a prop firm, right, I would want one that once you've passed the criteria, you are on a live account. I agree. Yeah. So what I've been doing is I've been going through all of them, and I've been, okay, what is the deal with that? Okay. So like these ones right here, Tick Tick Trader, Bull and Ox, a trading pit. Literally sim only. They do not offer live accounts whatsoever. And the funny thing with these ones is that they kind of try and hide that, like it's down in the footnotes of their footer page that it's all sim. But okay, they're all sim. Most of the places, I thought I was gonna say that Top Step is like that, but Top Step is not like that. They have a different setup. But most of these ones are, you go to live sim afterwards, and we can put you on a live, but it's like up to their discretion, right? Which basically says to me that like it basically never happens, and they don't really want to go through all that effort. But if you're really making so much money that it's killing their profits, then they'll move over to the live account. That's what that one says to me. Okay, has a clear criteria for live, but still offers payouts on sim accounts. So this one is really weird to me. I think the reason must be that if they're doing live sim, they don't have to pay the professional fee. And there's a lot of people that they pass it and then they don't want to pay the professional fee. That's my guess about why it is, but I'm just kind of like, okay, if you're going to offer live accounts, why not just shouldn't you just want to push everybody over to the live account, because that's where you're going to make real money? But they still allow you to have sim live accounts too if you choose to. That people would choose to have sim live accounts is like, what? You're ranking them so people don't, okay. So then there's this one. You can only get payouts after gaining a live account. So this is really what we're talking about but it's a two-step process. Like you get a live account, but you have to pass the combine twice to get to it, which is like you win 30% of the time and then you have to do it twice. So now it's really only like a 10% chance of you getting to live. And then after that, then it's another 30%. Do they get a payout, right? And then there's the last one. There's only two of these, but trade day and earn to trade are you pass the combine, and then immediately after passing the combine, you are given a live account, which is the way that I would expect it to work. Yeah, there's only two of them that do that. So my take has been so far that these are probably the two best. But earn to trade is kind of, I vaguely recall there being some sketchy stuff with them in the past. Trade08 also does background checks, so I prefer those props. Well, then now that one makes a little bit. Does Trade08 do that? I'm interested in that now, because I've always said, why isn't it that you're just trading your own account, but then if you're doing well, your broker sees that you're doing well and says, hey, we're going to give you some extra money to trade. That seems to me like a better way to do a prop firm, right? They're very thorough, yeah. But like here, so going back to the point that I was trying to get to. So here's my other pet peeve. Okay, is retail traders are like way too short-term focused. It's like you go on Reddit and they had one month of profitability, or they passed the trading combine one time, and now they have finally reached that profitable trader status. And I say nonsense. That you cannot really truly evaluate a strategy without 5 years of data. And I don't just come to that number randomly. There's two things behind it. The first is that based on the more fat-tailed a distribution is, the more data points you need. Does that make sense? This is the thing that Nassim Taleb in his book Fooled by Randomness is trying to talk about. Is like if you have a normal let me redraw that with like a more bold color. You have a distribution like this, right? A normal distribution, you only need like 50 data points and you can see the distribution, right? But when you get a fat-tailed distribution, which is like there's more data points here in the middle, but there's also data points that like go way, way, way out here, right? And these data points are like super, super rare. Oh, I drew that arrow where you can't even see it. These data points are super, super rare, but end up being worth more than everything else, right? So like it almost doesn't matter what the rest of your trading looks like. If you eat this loss, you're going to lose everything, essentially, right? And in order to see that, because they're so rare, you need more data. So so if this is, you know, the fat, this is the tailness of it, and this is the number of samples that you need. The more fat-tailed it is, the more samples you need, and it's exponential. Right? So the numbers just kind of happen to come out that with the degree of fat-tailedness that is in the market and in a typical retail trading strategy, you need about 5 years worth of data to have enough data to know. So that's the first thing. Then the split side of it is that there's regulatory support for it. So if you're trading futures, like the professional route for trading futures is you get a Series 3 license, and then you can start a commodities trading pool. And people who are qualified investors, that, you know, they have enough income and all of that, they can invest in your commodities trading pool. And one of the rules about the commodities trading pool is that you have to provide your entire trading, you need to provide 5 years of trading history or as much as you have. So if you've been trading for less than 5 years, then you basically you're showing them everything. But you have to show at least up to the last 5 years, and from all of your accounts and all of your different funds that you're running. 5 years is kind of the standard, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what that's the standard that I set for myself, and that I'm kind of pushing you guys in chat towards is, okay, like you can make money in the short term. There's things that you can do that I can tell you about that over a year or a 2-year period make money, but they don't work over a 5-year period. Eventually that fat tail comes in. And you blow up the account, right? So there's kind of difficulty in sussing that out because we're so short-term focused, and we as humans, we're not capable of looking at numbers that big, right? Dunbar's number, that's like the largest number that we're capable of really conceiving about, is like 200-300 people, right? And we're talking about numbers in the tens of thousands. You just can't even fathom how big of a number even 10,000 is. And so, you know, you'll be trading, you say, oh, this is a great strategy, like this totally works. And then you'll blow up the account and you'll say, oh, well, I broke my rules or whatever the deal is. When the reality is that like the strategy is prone to it, and it will always happen because you're not considering those fat tails. And if you want to make it to 5 years, you have to be able to deal with those fat tails to some degree, right? That's where I'm coming from. So there's what I was saying, like with Ace, for instance, like he's had some success, but I've back tested the strategies and everything. Like he gave me a rundown of how it worked, and it did not survive the 5-year test. And
block sell.
For some reason, when I show people that, they just it doesn't convince them. It doesn't convince them. Risk management is more important. Well, I mean, in that case, yes, but there's kind of this issue too. Like, so you might, part of your risk management might say, I have a daily risk limit, right? Okay. Well, so if you would think, okay, here's my distribution of daily returns, but then I say I'm not willing to lose more than $1,000 a day. So I put the line right there, right? And then all of these are canceled out, right? Well, there's still a fat tail. It's just that it's like, now you have to look at monthly returns instead. Okay, right? Eventually you get to a point where you have a bad enough losing streak that shows up and it eats away all your profits. Another thing is I've often found that like what the market will do is like fatten you up. It's like, it seems like it works every time, and then when they really need the liquidity, when things get rough, then it fails every time, and they're relying on you trying to continue to trade that strategy to like provide liquidity for them or something. I don't have any empirical backing for that, but it's just sort of a thing that I've kind of noticed tends to happen, is that like whatever this. So a really good example of this is the ICT stuff. So if you go back, if you go to my channel and you go back like 3 or 4 videos now, I have one about smart money concepts, and basically what I do is I show a back test of that strategy, and what happens is it was doing really, really well when his channel was like mildly popular, and then what was happening is they were getting fattened up, and then when he like really hit it big and became like 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel, right? Then it stopped working every time. It's like literally when you look at the graph, it's kind of going like before his channel it was kind of random. Then his channel is doing okay, and then like it's insane. This is just like it fails every time. Octavius, a good video on the whole, by the way. I didn't listen, and now I'm stuck in the whole short. I warned you, didn't I? I said, they're trading icebergs in here. They're at the bottom. I'm kind of worried they weren't going to do anything. Oh, man. I'd be much more interested in iceberg talk / video strategy if you can share it, of course. Well, so Stefan Samarin, you saying that right? I got the data. Oh, you've got DX feed. Do you have the DX feed for stocks? Because when I was messing with DX feed for stocks, I was like, man, if I was really willing to take the risk to day trade stocks, I think I could probably do better with this than I do with futures. It seems like that the opportunities there within their order flow reading are not taken advantage of in stocks the way that they are in futures. Not for stocks. Oh, that's okay. But I have a video series that is like the order flow video series, and the video series basically, like the first few videos are just explaining to you what you're even looking at, and then I have 2 other videos that are explaining how the order book leads to statistical behaviors. So there are things about like literally the rules of the market like this that lead to these phenomenons, like this liquidity whole thing that we had happen. Like you can model it. It happens because of the way that a limit order book market works. So any market that uses a limit order book, you'll see that behavior. And so those later videos, I'm kind of talking about that and how that leads to an elastic market. And then I have a more recent video kind of clarifying some issues and questions that people kind of get stuck on. So if you're interested in that, just watch the order flow video series. It's all for free. It's everything that you need. I would love to do like a course or a book. I guess a book on just the order flow part wouldn't really make much sense because there's already a book. Most of the information that I'm empirical information that I'm sharing with you about order flow, it comes from this book, Trades, Quotes, and Prices, Financial Markets Under the Microscope by my favorite researcher, Jean-Philippe Bouchot. And he's got Julius Benard, Jonathan Donier, and Martin Golds. This is like my freaking Bible, guys. And it's like a serious book. Okay. Can you see that? There's equations, graphs, and all this stuff. Okay, like this is a graduate level, a university graduate level book with a graduate level math in it. Just warning you, but they do a good job of explaining what's going on and what the consequences are that you just trudge through it, you'll make it, and you learn some really interesting things. And that is basically like every 30 years worth of empirical research about market microstructure is what that is. And that's where I get that stuff. So if you want a book, there's that. I want to write a book that is like the trader's handbook that kind of gives you all of these little other nuances, like all of the little details in the jobs report that you want to look at that might help you interpret the report when it comes out, for instance. Right. Gotta run. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I could do something like that, or I could teach like a college course where basically I take that book and then it's a college course. I could do that. Maybe that would be something that would be worth like charging people for. But what we do here on Order Flow, I want you guys to have that because you pay it back, right? What I'm doing is I'm getting you all to a certain level so that you can then help me research and find new edges that haven't been discovered yet. So yeah. Oh, and another thing, because you mentioned icebergs in here, Stefan. It wasn't necessarily the fact that it was an iceberg itself, as much as it was that a lot had traded there and it was kind of being sluggish, but I was seeing a pretty big iceberg being executed anyways. That just kind of tells me that like a lot of volume has been traded there. The market makers are kind of going to be exhausted there. They look pretty good at the moment right there between 20 and 20.5. So one of the things that I'm looking for is one of these two prices is going to be really low. Like there's only going to be like 500 contracts put on it. And like they'll tick down and then there's only 500 on the offer and then they tick up and there's only 500 on the bid. That's kind of like a more key sign that that's going on, that there's a hole there. Amen says, yo, welcome. Okay, so now is probably a good time to do a little. I said hi to Amen, right? Oh, and you Amen. I don't know. We can go back. There's too much. You're gonna hate it because like there's been a little bit of drama and you missed it. It's okay. You ever tried Zins? No, what are you talking about? Oprah denies $1 million payment by Harris campaign as the top of zero hedge today. Huh? What's this? Ed Dowd confirms our warning that Trump is inheriting a turd of an economy. I believe that, but what are they talking about there? That might be worth looking into. Speculative frenzy in Korea sends Bitcoin above 90K as Trump readies crypto line. Not seeing too much serious stories though. Zins are nicotine pouches for wimps that are scared of dying from lung cancer. Oh, dude, this is this is a subject that I am not qualified to talk about. I've seen people say there's this whole thing. So it was Tucker Carlson that was in on this one, wasn't it? I'm still weirded out by when he was talking about this. It was like. Because it was like, this is the hill that he was willing to die on. Must smoke. But he's saying that, like, cigarettes are bad and cigarettes are cancerous for you, but that there's no evidence that nicotine itself is bad for you. Which I don't think is true. I think that there is some evidence that there are negative consequences to nicotine. Maybe not necessarily like it causes cancer, but there are negative consequences to it. But then there's all of this stuff about like that nicotine can actually be neuroprotective. It kind of increases performance in some respects and all of these sorts of things. So I think that you're saying use these nicotine patches to help your trading. from what I've heard from it, it kind of sounds like that it could have benefits to your cognitive performance in trading. I don't know if they'd be worth it though, because the issue with the nicotine is that then when you don't have it in you, you're super stressed out. So it like kind of in the end doesn't help. He says smoking doesn't help. I feel like that it went. I'm generally speaking, I'm pretty relaxed and laid back on this. I'm often told that, man, you're so chill on stream. How are you not like terrified when you're trading and everything? Which I don't get, because I get super nervous in even tiny trades, right? But can you even imagine what it would be like if I was on cigarettes? Like, holy crap. Because everybody that I've ever met that was like a really heavy smoker was super high strung. It doesn't help because it's as addictive as heroin. Good grief. I can only imagine. I'll never touch it, because everything that I've read is that I'm would be prone to substance addiction, so I'm just not even gonna touch it. Like I'm lucky that I've always been healthy enough. I've never really had any weight problems, because if I was like addicted to food, I don't think I'd be able to deal with that. Like I don't think that I'd be able to like lose the weight and all that sort of a thing. I can lose weight really easily with the body that I have, but like if I had become obese, probably wouldn't last. Maybe if I wasn't on Adderall as a kid, maybe I would have gone fat. Who knows? Oh, and I did sports too. Did wrestling. My man, last time I went over to my uncle's house to do a little bit. We had to drill keyholes into our coat rack that it was making, but it was a little rack you mount on the wall. And he was showing me all of the tobacco leaves that he had, because he just like smokes it in a pipe or whatever. And I was like, what? So like the smell of pure tobacco leaves was I was not what I expected. It was like, oh, that's a familiar smell. I don't like that smell. I don't know how I know that smell, but that's a familiar smell, and it kind of smells like sweet and sticky disgustingness. And he was really into it, but I'm like, I don't like that smell. You don't smoke or have don't start with sin. Oh, okay. I won't. Don't worry. I'll just stick to Adderall. They doing a false breakout here. So well, okay, so let's think around here in the treasuries a little bit on the sim account. I'm kind of thinking about taking a try on a little bit of a reversal here, because I can see that we did like break the lows by a tick and then come back into the hole, but then at the same time I'm seeing some fairly significant volume coming into the 5-year treasury. So being a slave, I'm not a slave to the substances. So I'm on like a what do you call it, a antidepressant class medication, which isn't to say that it like is for depression, but it's like it has to like build up in your system to function, and it takes a little while to go in, and it kind of has an effect, and then your body kind of gets used to it. So like when I first started taking this medication, for like the first month, I just felt dizzy and nauseous the whole time. Like if you've ever had a situation where like your life was in danger, and then after the situation is over, you feel sick, right? That's basically what it felt like for me all the time, until your body gets used to it. And so I don't want to go through that again. So I'm very particular to like always get it and not have to, you know, like if I skip a day, I start to notice it's like things taste weird and stuff like that. And it does have like impacts on things. Like usually when that happens, I'll find myself I'll really want to scroll TikTok and like doom scroll, because basically what happens is you don't have as much norepinephrine or dopamine in your brain, and so you start to turn to behaviors to try and generate it, and like everything that you do just feels like blah. But I did have one time where I wasn't able to get it for like a week or whatever. It was fine. So I don't think that there's, and the Adderall, man, like I can completely forget to take the Adderall sometimes. So I have this weird thing with the Adderall, man. Like, okay, so I always take it in the morning, so I'm always feeling it when I'm here on stream. And I find that it's so much easier for me to talk and go into things and stay focused when I want to stay focused. So the Adderall, and to like control myself, you know, because I might be tempted to take stupid risks or things like that, and the Adderall helps me control myself, right? But then lately I've been doing like job interviews and so forth, and sometimes I've taken like a second dose and sometimes I haven't, and I'm not sure if it helps or not in the interviews. I'm kind of think that it might make me seem nervous sometimes to people. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like when I get done, I'm always like, I don't know, like, did I actually do well on that one? Well, like I've had ones where like they're doing a technical thing, and like they told me, oh, you did like really, really great and you solved the problem, no problem. And I'm the whole time sitting there thinking like, oh, this is like terrible. So I don't know if it helps or not. And then what the bigger issue is, like, it takes too much energy. It takes too much energy to be on that all day. I don't eat enough to do it all day. Right. But if there's anything that I'm addicted to, it's the emotional stability. Like the thing that I love the most about my wife is that she's so incredibly, unusually emotionally stable. It really is what that comes down to. I tell you what, I don't know all of the chemical processes involved and all of these things, but when you have stable, close relationships, it changes your perspective on everything. It changes your behavior in a way that people probably don't notice, but like in themselves, but you certainly will see it in other people. Like the confidence and the way that they navigate the world is just different. And I think it really benefits the trading, you know. That's that relationship. I wouldn't be able to do this stuff without having that relationship. I really wouldn't. Like my first marriage, I don't know if like live streaming and trading and stuff would work out, because my first marriage, she was too much fun is what her problem was. It's drama all the time, and it would negatively impact the trading. It would. Whereas my wife now is just like the rock. It's always there. You know, like when I lost my job, we were kind of in denial at first. Like we couldn't believe that it happened, and it was so sudden and all of this sort of stuff. Although I was kind of like suspected that something was coming along because they were kind of giving me all the signs that they were trying to reduce payroll, right? And then it was like, okay, we just went straight to work, getting everything in line for us to deal with the period of unemployment, and we just put our heads down and work hard. And I don't think that not every woman can deal with it the way that she has. A real champ. But the medication that I take really helps me achieve emotional stability. I think that I would be all the time like freaking out, like, oh, I've made her too mad, it's all gonna be over now. Too traumatized, man. But you know, that would be that's the one thing that really makes, you know, because I think I would be more entertaining without the medication. Like, you remember when I got the elbow surgery, the day before the elbow surgery, we had so much fun that day, man. I was loving life. I'm way more I think that I'm way more fun, interesting, and personable. You know, like going back to the Ace thing. You were listening through all that, by the way, were you, Uzi? Because I was like, I wonder if any of the longer term guys would have any thoughts on that or not. But you guys didn't say anything, so whatever. But like, yeah, I'm too mean to them sometimes. I am. I'm too mean to Uzi sometimes. And I think that some of that meanness does come from the medication. I do. It's called domestication. And there you go. Well, I here's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how you present this. Okay, like, okay, so there's this crazy hot matrix, right? There's hot and crazy, right? Then there's like equal crazy hot amounts, right? And then you kind of say that this is where you want to date. But there's certain people that are like, you know, so hot they're too crazy and whatnot, right? So this is the no-go zone, right? And kind of what I'm saying is like, okay, most people will say I'm gonna date in here because I want hot. And I'm not saying that my wife's not hot, because I think she's absolutely gorgeous. There are a lot of attributes about her that are really unique and striking about her that people notice. So she definitely has the looks, okay? But she's been overlooked often as well. Wasn't the skinniest person, for instance, when I met her. She was skinny enough, but she wasn't the skinniest person, for instance, right? And I'm kind of saying, like, go for the person that is maybe a little bit more average, but is low and crazy. That's better for trading. If you're like an entrepreneur, you're like doing startups and things like that, just go for, you just max it out. Just max it out. But if you're trading, I prioritize stability over hotness. And I'm kind of lucky that I was able to find a package that was overlooked that allowed me to get both. Gotta be careful. I don't want her to like watch this and then be like, Seth was dissing me. The other day, what was it that we were talking about? Oh, the dog thing. When we were talking about the dog thing, she was in the other room listening, and she's like, "No, well, it's not this kind of dog. It wasn't a Doberman. It was a Rottweiler that I wanted." Oh. By the way, I wish that I had gotten filled on these other contracts because I'd want to take like sequential profits on it, but I think I'm just going to take it off there. I feel like that trade worked really, really well. This is good when I'm running around talking shit on people to have a good trade. So come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Oh man. That's better for literally everything. I mean, outside of being absolutely insane yourself, there's no need to prioritize crazy. It is. There's so many people. I mean, maybe it's just because they're on social media and everything, but there really are a lot of people out there that are just completely emotionally unstable, aren't they? I wonder though, going back to the thing, is like, I kind of have it three ways advantage. Because one hand, my wife is unusually stable. Like, she was going into psychology. Sometimes she talks about, oh, maybe I should go back to school and, so that I can become a psychiatrist or whatever the deal is. I think that she would be really good at it because again, she's like incredibly grounded and stable. Then, I live in Utah. I'm still involved in church. So you get your local church community are very supportive. That's one of the things is like, I haven't had to use any kind of assistance or whatever. And I have a lot of money saved up so we can, we can survive like this for a long time. But, if push came to shove, I know that the local community would be there to help me out. And I have my parents locally too, so they can help me out. Like, there's some of these days where my wife is working and I have interviews. She comes and watches the kids. And then I have you guys, right? Like you guys are really the ride or die. It's an online thing. I wish that it was in real life, but it's an online thing, and that could only exist online with the interest that we have and everything. But it's something that a lot of people don't have. The internet has become such a transitory place. It kind of seems like that communities come and go, destroy themselves really easily, and it's crazy. And I almost wonder to some extent if it's intentional sometimes, that like the way that they set up Facebook and Reddit and things like that they kind of don't want people to know each other. Like, you don't go on Reddit and read a thread and know every person that's commenting in there. Almost every comment that you look at is from somebody that you've never heard of before. Wait, what's with that? Is that intentional? Or are they trying to prevent us from forming strong, dedicated communities? Or like with the video games? Because that's the way that used to be my community. So we played Unreal Tournament, and every Friday and Saturday night, that's what we did for years and years and years and years. And the game got boring. I thought back then that we would just move on to different games, and but that's not what happened, because then the new games that came along, it's all like matchmaking and things like that, and so then you don't really play with the community like that anymore. And is it intentional? I'm lucky and you are lucky because we have that here, but most people don't. And so when I look around and I see all of this craziness and everything, part of me is thinking, well, maybe I don't have those problems just because of the community stability that I have. And when you don't have any of that, you're a left-wing liberal. You don't talk to anybody that lives around you. You don't even know the person that lives in the apartment next door. And your whole world is basically other left-wing activists in this gigantic mob where you never recognize a name or a face. And then all of a sudden your team loses. You're just going to completely lose it, right? Okay, Uzi says, Facebook wants you to be disconnected from your friends as connected to absolute brain rot as possible. That's why they changed the newsfeed and filled it with sponsored trash. I remember when you used to log into Facebook and see all your friends' updates and stuff, and now it's just rot from. Yeah, this totally is. They changed the feed because it was too effective. It was like you could build out a huge Facebook page and just leave Facebook updates and have this huge influence on people, and you know, get the word out. Not even influence, but just like if I was promoting a party, you know, I could organize a party purely off of Facebook, and Facebook said no, we can't have that. They need to pay to do that, and so they ruined the front page. Totally. And honestly, I think that they do it with Twitter too. I feel that they do it with Twitter too. You would say no, that can't be, because you know there's the people on Twitter that have millions of followers and all of this, and you know they people can have a huge influence on Twitter and right? Well, yeah, for the people that have really huge accounts. See, Twitter is great for existing celebrities. Twitter is a system that actually kind of reinforces, with the way that it went, it reinforced existing power structures on Twitter. It's really what happened. Yeah, like anybody can get on there, but then you're just a part of the mob that nobody cares about. And what do you have to do to get to a point where, you know, a large number of people are going to follow you if you're not a celebrity for some reason, you know? A celebrity or a hot chick. So Twitter kind of does it too. The new Twitter is maybe different. They're trying to go in a different direction. I don't know if it's really working, but Susie says, I swear, bro, I have 2 friends from Facebook that low-key follow on Twitter, and even with following over 16,000 accounts there, I still see their posts more on Twitter than on Facebook. Oh, that's so awful. Jeez. Hey, Paul, but then the question, remember, where's the money from Facebook coming from? It comes from brain rot. You don't pay to talk to your neighbor. It's true, man. Even the way that the Facebook groups work is just so stupid, I think. I so much miss the forum format, like vBulletin forums. I mean, you have a set topic, you can do long form posts, you can quote other people, and everything is sequentially in order of, you know, when people posted it. And so people would just talk about anything. And then Reddit and Facebook came along, and everything has to be ranked by engagement. And so everything is just people trying to milk the most engagement out of things. It's just so stupid. Or this stuff with YouTube and the prop firms, where it like every incentive is for creators to just, you know, be absolutely subservient to whoever the highest bidder is, instead of producing like real content, you know, saying this is the art that I want to make because I want to make it, or this is what I think is like the best, most useful information for your audience. But no, if you're going to be famous on YouTube or really do well on YouTube, it's kind of funny because I'm talking to some of these influencers and these other people, and it's like, well, I have a 16,000 subscriber page and I've been around, so I'm kind of hot stuff, aren't I? Except for that, I'm really not, because there's influencers that have hundreds of thousands of followers, right? You want to get to that hundreds of thousands of followers, you've basically got to prostitute yourself out to the best bidder and farm the engagement. I hate it. I hate it. And then brain rot. Oh, you know what happened yesterday? Okay, so yesterday, man, Asher, my 4-year-old, he really slept in. We let him sleep in. Probably shouldn't have, because he really didn't want to go to sleep last night. So Ethan woke up first, so I'm like, okay, let's put something on for Ethan. I don't want him to watch YouTube videos. Let's give him something with a little bit more, like you can watch a story over 30 minutes or whatever the deal is. I think that's probably better for him, right? So there's this show on Netflix that honestly sometimes I'm kind of like, I'm surprised that Netflix allows this show to be on. But it's called Alien TV. Have you ever watched Alien TV? It's the weirdest show. So basically, what the show is like a media news crew of aliens, super teeny tiny aliens that come to our planet and do investigative reporting on some subject. And the whole time, the aliens kind of speak in like this gibberish alien language. And then at the end of the episode, you see the news report that they formed off of that experience that they just had. And the news report that they give is always like completely off from what's actually going on, right? and it's really actually quite funny. But I'm kind of like, isn't that making fun of the media and like the whole disinformation? Like that's why I'm like, why does Netflix allow this show? But whatever, the kids like it, so I put this show on, and the first thing that Ethan does is he starts blabbing like the aliens. He thinks it's so funny, and he's copying the way that the aliens talk. Like, no, I want you to speak English. Why is it when you're watching English shows that you don't immediately copy what they're saying? So yeah, I turned that show off and put something else on. And he was okay with it. It was early enough in the day. He wasn't cranky. He was okay with it. Yeah, this content that kids watch, I don't know. Like, so the thing is like, we as millennials, I see this mostly in millennials complaining about brain rot content. Like, that's become the big thing on YouTube apparently for a certain age group, is using all of the stupidest slang words that you can about how something is skibbity and all of these sorts of things. And the content is just the most completely random, stupid stuff that you can possibly come up with. And the teachers are all saying that, like, that the kids say this stuff to them. And you get teachers that have been in the game for like 40, 50 years quitting because they just can't stand the kids anymore. Like, because the behavior of the kids have become so bad, and everybody is blaming it on this brain rot content that's on YouTube. But then I was watching Homestar Runner. I was watching Homestar Runner yesterday because I saw this little clip where he talked about tertiary investments. That kind of perked my interest. But man, that show was so effing random. So I don't know if we as millennials really have a leg to stand on when it comes to brain rot content. After that, I'm kind of like, well, we all watched Homestar Runner and Salad Fingers and turned out, so maybe it's not that bad. I keep looking at this and seeing it at the highs and being like, that's pretty good. Are they going to continue through? But then I look at the chart and realize that we've been stuck in a hole for a good 15 minutes. You don't even know what Homestar Runner is? Oh my gosh, Uzi. Oh. Dude, back in the day, Homestar Runner was it. That was like, they had the pop culture status. That was all anybody was talking about in my area for a while. Or what about Charlie the Unicorn? You've seen Charlie the Unicorn, right? So the thing that got famous from Homestar Runner, it was basically, it was like a Flash macro media website. So like you'd go to the website and it would have all of those really detailed vector drawings and animations and stuff. And you could like click around in the environment and then it would take you to like videos that they had basically made. Now you can go and find Homestar Runner on YouTube and you can rewatch it on YouTube. I just looked up her Homestar Runner and never heard of it a day in my life. Okay, so anyways, there's a character it's a character website. Like they have a bunch of little characters and they're all like really stupid. You do know Charlie the Unicorn. By the way, if you haven't seen it, they made a conclusion to Charlie the Unicorn that basically explains what's actually going on, and like it all fits, and it actually kind of fits in a way that makes me think that like it was their intention to tell this story from the beginning and they just never got around to finishing it. but they like finished the story and it's nuts. You have to watch it if you liked Charlie the Unicorn. But anyways, Homestar Runner. So one of the characters in Homestar Runner is this character named Strong Bad, and Strong Bad is he is a wrestler. He wears a wrestling mask and he wears boxing gloves and he answers emails using only the terminal. He has like a terminal only computer and he types on the things and he talks like this. And so like there's this thing that's like they have this question like, "Dear Strong Bad, why are you so stupid?" I forget what the question is. And he's like, "Oh, another one like that. I've never heard that one before. Oh, it's deleted." But there was this one video in particular where they asked him to draw a dragon. And so he draws this absolutely hideous looking dragon. And then they do a little song. They have like a song with the guitar and everything. And man, when that happened, oh, the kid like that was in high school, I think. Everybody thought that was so hilarious. Like that was the peak of comedy at the time. So if you want to look it up, you would want to look up Trogdor. That's what it was. Trogdor the Burminator. That's their most famous video. I think that's their most famous video. Man. Oh, I watched DuckTales. I think you're a little bit older than me, right? But I remember watching DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Dude, that mouse was probably like the first time that I was like, oh, like your girls are kind of hot. But I was like 6 at the time. Okay, so. You're talking about shit that was popular when I was in my 20s. Yeah, I'm talking about stuff that's like, well, for me, high school, maybe early university. No. Your first boner is in the womb. Come on. I know I shouldn't have said that. Moving on. There was and then you know what it was gargoyles. Yes, sir. I loved gargoyles. I remember, like, I watched YouTube videos about this and I was like, oh, that's what happened. Because I remember that. I remember, yeah, you'd come home from school, not high school, but you'd come home from elementary school, and then you would watch the ABC network or whatever it was. Was it ABC? No, I think on my end it was Fox, but there was like a Disney block of like 2 or 3 hours where they'd show cartoons, and then after that it was the news. Yep, Gargoyles and Batman, and Darkwing Duck was another one in there. DuckTales was another one that was in there. Rescue Rangers was another one. Yeah, and then there was Gargoyles, and what happened with Gargoyles was the Gargoyles was the first time that they decided to start doing episodic content in a kids show. So like the first season or so, they're all of the episodes are pretty like self-contained, but after a while they started to get into like telling a story, and there were like multi-episode arcs where it was like you really had to like watch every episode to understand what was going on and all of this sort of stuff, right? So they kind of had established enough of a story that I was like hooked, and you're like waiting every day to see the new episodes and everything. And then the O.J. Simpson trial happened. and the news or the TV stations were always cutting over to the news to show the O.J. Simpson trial for like a whole month or something like that. And so by the time that was over and you could actually watch Gargoyles again, like you couldn't understand anything that was going on because you would miss like a whole month of episodes, and like everybody lost interest. You just like, I forgot about it, and then I was an adult and I saw these things and I was like, oh, that's what happened. I still haven't watched it. I should probably go back and watch it. At the time I was in high school, I wasn't into watching cartoons and stuff anymore. You know what? I don't remember having a whole lot of time to really watch a lot of cartoons when I was in high school. But I do remember being in high school and watching like Dragon Ball Z, so... Oh man, that was a magical day. So, in my area, there's like a technical college. You can learn computer stuff, so I kind of learned some of my first computer stuff there. But you can also go into being a cook. You can go into metalworking. Like, it's a technical college, right? And you get enough credits in high school and everything. You can basically do whatever you want, right? And so you can go to this technical college for 2 periods a day or whatever, right? So I do that, and I meet another group of guys. This is like, I finally found the other computer nerds. That's like where my best friends came from as a kid. Still talk to them. And some of them, one of them, he was like, one of them was like a real hacker, and he works for the government now. But and they were talking about Dragon Ball Z, and I'm like, what's that? I've never seen that, because that was a cartoon that was on in the morning, but it was like on at a time that I was not there or whatever. And I always watched Good Morning Today. Like I was always watching the political content at that time. I tell you, I've been interested in the political content since I was in junior high. Okay. And so it was like one of the first days that I was with these guys at the technical college, and it was like a self-paced thing where like you're supposed to read through books and everything, and then you can take a test, and you know, as long as you basically like take one test, you're okay. So it was basically like screw around with computers all day, and then at the end of the semester clip all of the tests is basically what we would do. And so this one day, they just spent the whole day, and I mean, they literally spent like the whole day just explaining the entire unabridged Dragon Ball Z timeline to me. And so then I turned around and I downloaded all of the episodes off of Kazaa or whatever and watched it. Ray says, do you use MTN for micro? No. Oh, I forgot about that, Ray. I'm so glad you reminded me of that, because that should be a good place to play. No, I like these micro yield futures. I really like them. I'm kind of been focused more on the micros because, well, like it's really well sized, and I kind of want to do yield curve trades at some point. But I forgot that, like, oh, okay, like ZN, maybe if ZN is, you like that ZN is thick, but you don't like the tick size of it, like mini TN might be the place to go. And I forget that they made that. My recollection is that last time we tried to look at it, that it wasn't working for me or something. Yeah, see, like if I try and pull MTN, it doesn't. You see, I can do TN, but if I do MTN, it doesn't show up over there. Let's try it on a chart. MTN. Oh, there you go. Micro Ultra 10-year futures. 5-minute chart. I'm gonna pull it over. Oh, I do get data. I do get data over here. Yeah, it works on NinjaTrader 8. So let's pull it up on a NinjaTrader 8 static DOM. So it. Oh wait. Center, maybe. Maybe it just doesn't have a lot of liquidity and activity. I don't know. And maybe I just don't get it market depth. I bet you if I talked to my broker and everything, we could get it. Because it's one of those one of those things. Like, I honestly, I know that this sounds like super egotistical and everything, but I literally put in the first trade in the micro 10-year yield, and I kind of wonder, like, if we hadn't have pushed that and like started being active in that market at the beginning, if the micro 10-year would be a lot like the micro 5 and 32, you know. So now I'm looking at MTN and I'm like, oh, but maybe we should start playing over there so that, you know, some robots come along and there's actually some activity there. Because, you know, I think that like an instrument that's like hyper thick, but isn't, you know, is more like $1 a tick instead of $15 a tick would be a good place to play for retail traders. Assuming the commissions were appropriate as well. So the issue with these ones is that you're paying like a basically a whole tick in commissions every time. Kind of annoying about it. So Uzi doesn't get a feed either, huh? The treasuries did come back. By the way, when I took that trade earlier, where was it at? It was at 24. Okay, so there was about maybe 4 ticks that I missed out on. It has kind of come back to below my spot, so I'm gonna give that exit a B+. But the trade worked really well. Like, I didn't have to be in it for very long. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. I'm liking that. Smooth Operator. That's a sweet name. Welcome to the stream. Let's do our little kind of look over things. Now I'm turning my mind back to the whole fast track trading thing. Like, is it really worth it for me to dig through their chat log and everything? I kind of think probably not. Do you trade ultras? No. Dude, the ultras terrify me, man. Okay, so when I first started trading, you know, everybody said, well, you get the best tick size and everything with ZB, and there's still good liquidity, so you should trade ZB. So for the first, I want to say year, before I started streaming it, I traded the bond, and I made so many big mistakes with it. I remember this one day where it was like I just kept taking bad trade after bad trade, and I don't know what it was. It was moving around a lot, and so it was like on sim or something like that, like a negative $5,000 day or something like that. I look back on that, I'm like, that market must have been a lot more volatile than it is normally or something, because like, how did I rack up such a huge loss? I don't know. But, you know, and I was really struggling, and I spoke with John Grady and everything, and he said, you know, you probably would do better on Xian. There's more liquidity, it's a little bit more slower and intentional anyways. And so I switched over to that. I had a lot more success with it, and I've kind of never left, right? So then I go and look at UB, And it's like, oh, okay, so it's like the same tick size as ZB, but it moves even more? Yeah, they terrify me. They terrify me. Honestly, ES kind of scares me a little bit to some extent these days. I mean, we're supposed to be trying to take, you know, YOLO trades over in ES, right? And I kind of forget, but I don't even know what I would be going for here. Well, there does look like you're in an area with a little bit of mean reversion. We got an hour left. Let's just take one right here. Come on, come on. I think I would have gotten filled bar right now by now, but the sim's not giving it to me. But there's a couple. The other instrument that's done that to me, man, is oil, man. Every time that I'm like, okay, let's get involved in oil, and I'll like have a big success at the beginning of it, and then like get absolutely decimated. Absolutely decimated. Like that's what killed me in 2021. Was messing with oil. I was like, oh, now is the time to buy it. Maybe it wasn't 2021. I don't remember. But it was like, now's the time to buy it. And then like it kept going lower and lower and lower, and then missed out on the whole low run for it. Okay, there we go. It filled. Oh, right here. There we go. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm just kind of favoring longs. It seems like that's the way that the trend has been. I don't really have a really good read on what the flows would be over here, but I am seeing a little bit of mean reversion, so I'm kind of trying to make a bet that if I just try and take a few little ticks that I might be able to get something. And we're trying to trade with like a skewed risk reward to kind of show how, you know, you can take a risk and actually do really well in the short run and pass combines and everything with it, but on a 5-year time period you don't make it. Okay, so for someone new to the DOM watch, absolutely ZN. Absolutely ZN. So let me tell you something. The more liquidity there is in a market, the more potential predictive signals you can pull out of it. So when I say predictive signals, you know, there's things like stuff that happens at certain times of month and all of these sorts of things that you can really dig into the data and find. Basically what happens is large institutions that need to do certain types of transactions every month, they're going to go and they're going to look for the most liquid instruments. And so that's why you end up with like more predictive signals in those markets. And another thing is that the kind of empirically proven behaviors of limit order books end up being incredibly clear on a very thick instrument. Like you can see those behaviors so clearly. And then ZN is kind of slow and intentional anyways. So I really strongly recommend using ZN as kind of like your learning grounds. Learn to read order flow on ZN first. You can come in here to the stream and, you know, ask me questions and see what kind of context we think matters for ZN that day, right? You do that for a couple of months, you've totally got it. I wouldn't expect everybody to enjoy listening to me for the rest of their lives. So you stick around for a few months and then maybe you go somewhere else. That's totally cool. You know, once you've learned, that's what I would expect. And then, you know, you can go to a more advanced instrument if you want. Like if you absolutely insist on trading equity indexes, because that's what everybody does. Yeah, then you can go over there. You'll be much better equipped to be able to read the order flow in ES. You'll have to come, you know, from some extent, you're building that intuition from scratch again, but you've already seen it over here. Like, you know what to look for you'll be in a much better spot to actually get something out of it. So what often happens is people will start to trade order flow, and they'll start with ES, and then they're not able to sort anything out from it. It just looks like noise to them, and they conclude that order flow is useless, right? That happens a lot. So start in ZN, 100%. In fact, if you watch my video that I posted yesterday, by the way, how did that do overnight? Let's go take a look at that. But I talk about that in that video. Okay. So it's not unusually high, but it is at the top of the range in terms of like the last 10 videos that we've released. So this one's doing really well. Gotta tell Ali, it's looking really good. John Grady and you are the most honest guys around online. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Lava. I mean, integrity is super, super important to me. Something that I see going around a lot is people saying, like, you know, if you really want to become rich, you kind of have to leave your integrity behind a little bit. And I just don't believe that. I think that when you compromise your integrity, it always comes back to bite you, especially in a business like what we're doing here. Like this fast track trader thing, I think is like another really good example. Like you've got all of these influencers out there pushing these affiliate links for prop firms, and then one of them ends up being a complete and utter rug pull. You know, you were recommending everybody do that. And now you're pushing all of these other businesses that are just as sketchy, right? Why should anybody trust you at all? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's the integrity side is really important to me. I'm not gonna say I'm the nicest kid around. Okay, I'm not gonna say that everybody's gonna enjoy my stream. Like again, if you don't want to focus on empirically derived information and you want to talk about technical analysis, then you're not going to like my stream, because technical analysis is junk. It's junk science. It's basically a cargo cult. You taking stuff that you read about turtle traders in the 80s and trying to apply it to an intraday time frame. It just doesn't work. It's nonsense. If you're dedicated to technical analysis, you're going to hear that and you're not going to like it. That's okay. You don't have to. I don't care. I mean, I do care. I want, you know, we have our group in here and everything, but part of the reason that we have the group that we do is because that's our focus. So we're focused on empirically derived information. Octavius asks, is Scott going? I have no clue, dude. I kind of seemed to me like he was not the favorite, but maybe with some of the drama that we've had recently, some representatives rethink their choice. I don't know. But I don't have any kind of inside track on that this time. A little frustrated by this ES one. It's if I had gone the other direction, I would have been filled by now. So that one looks like yeah, well, it looks like not the best trade, but for the kind of risk-taking trade that we're taking, I don't know, maybe it goes up there and that would kind of like prove the case that it's like I took a terrible trade and it still worked out. What price format are you using for ZN? Mine is set to 5.5 0.5 30 seconds and displays as one. Oh yeah. Well, no, mine does that too. I'm just hiding the first number. See, to kind of reduce the size that it takes on the screen, I hide the first 1 or 2 digits. But I'm using 0.5 of a 30-second. Yeah. What that means, by the way, is what you see here. It's a 30 seconds. So when you go 31, 31, 31 half, and then it goes back to 0, right? Why do they do it like that? Why is it like 31, 31 half? Why isn't it like in 64ths instead, right? Because wouldn't that be the same number of ticks per handle? Well, the reason they do it that way is because ZB is in 30 seconds, right? You go to ZB, you go 30, 31, 0. So then they do this one is half of that. So and then over to this one is a quarter of that. That's why this one is, right? Over here, 31, 31 and a quarter, but they just say 312. 31 and a half, 31 and 3/4, they use a 7, and then 0. So that's what's going on there. But all you have to worry about is how many, what is the tick size, how many ticks is it going to go, right? The actual price doesn't matter a whole lot to us. It's just what orders are going to come in, how far is it going to move the market. What do you think then? I'll bet the other candidates last. Oh, dude, wait, so what are they showing on Predict It? Do they have a market for it on Predict It? Congress, maybe? No. I don't see a market on it. Seems to me like a market that would make sense to put on it, but this is kind of, again, part of why like Predicted is no longer the top dog. Yeah, well. I try not to think. Well, it's back there. I mean, I might eventually get it. I still think that it was kind of lucky if I do. If I get it, I think it was luck. I kind of like doing this with the what do they call it again? The consolidated tick, the tick multiplier or whatever, because it kind of otherwise you get all this deceptive noise. You think, oh yeah, it's really moving, but then you look at it and you're like, actually no, it's just kind of like going back and forth between these two prices. Yeah, my voice isn't as good as I thought it would be today. It's getting better, but it's not completely there today. I don't think that I was able to clear myself out in the shower as well as I was in days past. So. Clear out all the snot. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking. I don't know how, but something about that sounds like it probably sounds good. Oh, are they gonna stop me out? It's awfully close there. Oh, here's somebody from Reddit. I have 80% win rate. It's so close. Oh, nope, it didn't do it. This is the sort of stuff that makes me feel like it's coming in intentionally after me, you know what I mean? I'm gunning for it. They'll take me out, and then they'll just jump out of there. Ah, there we go. They took it out. Well, I could turn around and do it the other way. Why not? I gotta be clear, every time I do one of these, I don't believe that there's any edge to what I'm doing here in ES. I'm just taking risk. It does look like the overall flow in ES is to the sell side today. I don't know if that's going to last, though. Honestly, the going short after that is probably an even worse trade, right? Because now they're going to struggle to go down there. Now, the treasuries, it kind of came back up to the top there. Just, I don't know if it's a huge deal, but interesting. Interesting enough, I guess. Oh, I forgot about this. Dude. Hold on a second. So I posted my video to the order flow subreddit, and it looks like it did okay. I love how Reddit shows you the views and everything, but the comments, I love the comments in here. So the first thing that somebody says is, "Oh, say that you're talking about Fat Cow." No, gosh dang it, guys! I was trying to be stealth about it. Okay, it was too obvious. They picked up on that I was responding to something that Fat Cat had said, like, immediately. Is this one of you guys? Is it Vox 2020? Is that you, Uzi? Who is that? No, I don't think that doesn't make sense. It would be Uzi. It's got to be one of you guys. You must know. Okay, lol. This donk is. You see this right here? This is what I want. These kind of comments. I was so, there wasn't enough going in there. I was going to be like, oh, I know, right? Like, the guy barely even trades right now. I don't know why anybody would listen to him. people trashing me on Reddit. I love it. I love it. Oh, and then there's this guy Ron Posit. I know this guy. He's full of shit. Don't bother listening to this guy's stuff, right? still, some comments. I'm liking it. I'm liking what we happened with it. Very good. Very good stuff. Wow. Guys, it doesn't look very good for Seth taking random risk-based trades in ES so far. maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and have an algorithm just do it for us. Do you look at daily change percentage to determine the flow/sentiment for the day and trade on side of it? No. So I guess what I do. So here's a couple of flows that I look at that are kind of like something that I try and keep in mind every day. Okay. The first one is I'm going to look at seasonality sort of things. So like, does the market tend to do a thing at this time of year? Does the market tend to do this something like this time of the month or this time of the week? Like Wednesday is probably going to be a pretty busy market because we got the CPI coming out, but also there's just tends to be more activity on Wednesdays. So that's one thing that I look at, right? Another thing is I will come in and look at longer term charts. So like, especially these daily charts with moving averages, like where are we in relationship to the moving averages and what is the overall trend? So it's pretty hard to ignore that the treasuries are on a downtrend. I mean, they are. And you can see that in the flows. Like when we come in the morning, it seems like the overall flow is short, and then like something happens and those shorts all are forced to cover. So you kind of get this sort of thing where it goes down and then it comes up really quick and then it comes down really slow and it comes up really quick, right? So that's something that I kind of factor in there. Momentum on a daily chart is absolutely a thing. Okay, like that's how these big commodities trading advisors, that's what they're primarily relying on. Okay, is momentum. So put a couple of moving averages on there, put an ATR stop on there, tells you some decent stuff about like what direction they're doing, right? And then I do look at the sentiment, like so the way that I kind of approach sentiment, well, first of all, there's indicators and I can see what people are saying and I do a lot of reading and everything. But then I also look at things like this, like, that sure was a big jump, but kind of looks like it's over. So probably we kind of sit in a range until the next big event, which is going to be CPI. And so to me, sentiment is mildly positive, but waiting for the next event. I don't know why. You know what? I took that trade like, oh, that one is wrong, so let's just take the opposite side of it. I wouldn't expect that to work any better than the other one. I just wanted to be in a position. Okay. So that one stopped out. I'm 0 for 2. Well, I could take another one though. I still want to believe that it's gonna get bumped. I don't know if this could best the prices to get into it now though. Like as soon as I get into it, it's gonna come back on me, right? I could go short here, a double down. I don't know. Me just trying to trade randomly based on. I don't think that that's gonna work. I don't think that that's going to work. I need to do something else, like maybe the random timed entry would be a good way of doing it. Oh, hey, do I still have that? Where is that? Let's see here. Strategy analyzer. What did I call it? How come I didn't name it something cool that I would remember? What the hell? Seth. You passed Seth. You're failing me here. There it is, double down. I don't know why it's in that CTA folder. Let's just do it here. New strategy. Next. Random. Generate. Back up here to the top. And keep it in the main namespace, and we call it random. Okay, and then this whole bit right here, I'm just gonna get rid of the double down bit, the use double down bit. Properties. No, I can't just call it random. That's bad. Okay. Oh, no, I don't have to worry about that. Okay. And then I do have, let's see here. Do I have in this strategy, a seed? I do. Okay. Cool. New strategy analyzer. Oops. Optimization run. Log none. Save history false. Yes. And then we have to say, where is it? Stop. We're using 8. Okay, but let's go by points. Let's go from 4 to 40. Let's say 4 to 40. Increment by 4. Use a reward factor. In this case, I'm going to always use 0.5. Okay. So that should give me 10 iterations. But then I'm also going to iterate over seed. Where's seed? Come on. Ninja script property seed int seed. It's like staring me in the face somewhere and I just can't see it. News management, risk management, strategy parameters. Yes, it should be an instrument. One minute, sure. Just this year, sure. Commission. Oh, well, include commissions. Don't worry about that. Hi, I'm new to this channel. Why? You know what? Somebody asked that earlier. You should rewind and go back to it. But I also have a video about like why to trade micro treasury yield futures. But the gist of it is you get better order flow reads in it. There's more predictive signals in it. It's a little there's a lot of advantages to it. Man, how come I can't see it? Maybe if I come back to there's start time and stop time. How come I don't see the seed parameter? Wait, am I doing... Oh, because I'm doing advanced base strategy. I want random trade. There we go. Okay, I'm so stupid, guys. Sometimes I'm so stupid. Okay, so seed... We want the seed to go from like 0 to 100. Let's just do 100 for each one. And then we want the stop to go from 4 to 40, increment by steps of 4. Okay. And 180... I think that's okay. So what this is going to do is it's just going to take a trade every day, and it's going to be like a completely random trade. But I'm telling it to use this skewed risk reward. Where is it? Risk management up here. Reward factor 0.5. I have stop in here. Should probably get rid of that, and that. Let me rebuild here really quick. Oh, do I not? Oh, it's not like one of those. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Really, I should just get rid of this. This bit right here. So that all of these parts show up in strategy parameters. There we go. Okay, 4 to 40, 180, yada, 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 yada. Is it 180? Let me see here. So I pick a random number between... stop time. So it's doing it over 180 minutes. So it's doing it from 6:30 to 3 hours. Okay, yeah, no, so we're good. Okay. Run. This should take a little bit. I didn't click take replay, right? No, okay. Should be going faster than that. Why is one iteration taking so long? Oh, maybe because it has to download the data. Oh, it didn't even do the thing. Okay. Well, oh, 77% profitable, huh? Wait, so now we come into the optimization graph, and on one side we're going to have net profit, and on the other side we're going to have the stop. I guess I should have expected that. So I was kind of wondering, like, is there like a level that is optimal for doing this sort of degeneracy? And it's basically saying, no, to really just have your stop as big as possible. So really, where we set our stop at should be dependent on how long we want the trade to last. Essentially. That's pretty sick, actually. I like that. I like the way that that turned out. This reward factor is the same, so you could just say none. What are the because right, you're gonna get one where the stop, you know, it does 100 with the stop at this, 100 with the stop at this, right? And what is the range that you get? Between 3,000 and 3,000. There's a real, it does seem like there's maybe a real jump right there. Does kind of seem like that after 24, so after six points, diminishing returns. So it'll definitely be within 5. Definitely within 5 or 6. I don't think I want to go for 10 points with what we're doing here. What we should do. I'm glad that I was able to do that so quickly. That means that like all of my programming stuff, it's all I needed a little bit of work, but it's in there. It's good. So like what I can do now is I can kind of take random and I can kind of add little bits of things to it to say, okay, like does this particular thing. The reason we originally created this was like, what if you double down on a trade? What does that do, for instance? Anyways. I don't know how to where I need some ideas here, guys. If I don't think that me just randomly selecting it is gonna work very well, but then it's also like, okay, if I have the algorithm decide to do it randomly, that's not any fun either. So I think that it needs to be a setup that somebody believes in, you know. You know, I gotta think of something that I can kind of do algorithmically in a way, but I can't, because I don't want my bias to come play into it, basically. So it's like, how do I create something that's like systematic but like can't be back tested? Because if it's systematic, then I would just run the back test on it and then see like that it doesn't really work and not bother with it, right? But I do feel like that my instincts on that were pretty flawed. And I guess the other issue is that like I don't want me messing around in the E-minis to screw up my trades in ZN, because I got something pretty good going over there in ZN, don't I? We've been doing really well with that lately, so. Oh, we got just a few minutes left. I shouldn't dive into any new subjects. I should just kind of, you know, relax now. Ooh, I didn't realize the treasuries had come all the way across that range, though. That's interesting to me, especially when we're not getting really the negative delta on those. There might be some steepening going on, though. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna mess with it. I got something. What? You know, but before I go, I should maybe do a little bit of work here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. You know, like the more that I think about the fast track trading thing, you guys didn't really say a whole lot about it. So I'm kind of, I don't know if, you know what? I've taught you guys too well. You just don't care about that kind of drama. This is what it really is, isn't it? Carry these over. Let's see here. I did late to the show. Haven't watched it. Watched what yet? I haven't put anything out about it, but there's some videos out there. I guess I should watch those videos. I will watch those videos. Oh, you haven't watched the new video? Oh, you haven't? I thought you. Oh, maybe it was somebody else. I have to say, by the way, there was a lot of good comments on that video. I'm feeling really good about that video. I was, you know. Well, we had an editor helped us, and you know, wanted to have good videos and you know have those videos do well, so that you know I don't expect the channel to take off, so that I can you know rely on that for income or anything like that. I'm still intent, and even if I did, I probably would still get a day job. So you know, I want to, but I do want to have enough income there for the editor. You know, so that we can continue to really push good content and everything. And I feel like we're getting into some good content. I think that last video was one of my better videos. So I'm really happy, like it is getting the views and you guys are commenting on it and everything. And I think it was addressing something in the community that like people were talking about, and it was a good answer too. So, and I think this next one that we make about prop firms will be that too. Although I just don't like the prop firms, and I'm really gonna push it. I think that I'm kind of gonna be the enemy in a lot of people's eyes, because from what I've seen, the community is just completely captured by these stupid prop firms and the affiliate links with it. And it's crazy to me to be the outlier on this, but it's a fight I want to have. It's a fight I want to have, and probably going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, not like me, because I'm going to bash them super, super hard, and it's kind of going to be like, you're dumb for using them. But I want to have that battle. I want to have that battle, so we're going to do that with that one. So I will dig a little bit more into fast track trading, but I was thinking like, oh, should I read through like their entire log and try and find all of the problems that they were doing and everything? I don't think so. I don't think I should waste that much time on it. There are a couple of YouTube videos and so forth on it where they highlight things. I think I will look at that. And then there was this other thing with these other influencers. I'm totally down to if other people want to get on the stream and we do like a Discord stage and they can say whatever they want. I was a little Ox, I think, is a little bit mad at me, so you know, we can be friends too if you want. Like, I can come in and I can tell you all the things that I hate about all of the affiliate links that you have, but there's no reason that we have to be like that. He seems like an okay guy. So but I don't know if anything's gonna come of that. They couldn't do it today. I don't know if he's gonna be interested to do it another day. Yeah, I guess that's all I got for you guys. I got some other important things to do today, so I will see you tomorrow. Stay excellent, team.